tips. Audrey Wilkinson, Mark.
What is tips?
What is tips?
Yeah, I think to me,
That's a really good question, actually.
TIPS is an organization that connects teens in our community who want to be better leaders to other organizations that have similar goals in mind that they want to see happen in their community.
I would just add one word at the beginning and I would say empowering teens in public service.
Pretty quotable, huh?
Yeah, pretty good.
tips for me has been an amazing educational experience. I've learned so much about the arts and community service and nonprofit sector.
It really did affect my confidence in a really positive way and make me see the world as a more positive place that's capable of change. And those are things that I will not soon forget.
Tips, Konolu, Mark.
I think one really good thing that came out of the virtual nature of this internship was getting to do a lot more open-ended projects in addition to just facilitating that program.
When you're at home, it's a little different. There's nobody there to, motivate you. So it has to come from you. The fact that TIPS was online this year actually, I think, brought that skill out of me.
I like to be a busybody, so I don't really like to sit and just wait for things to happen. So I got to learn how to creative ways to kind of get work. And so when we did have those Zoom calls, I would kind of present my ideas to her, and then she would also give me work on top of that. So I think that created a really good balance.
One thing that I did for my first week of my internship was I got to have a 30-minute Zoom meeting with all of the other employees of the Holocaust Center, which was awesome. And then from there, I got to sit in on staff meetings.
So I feel like at least at my internship, I had a really solid community of people who listened to me. I never feel like I've really been listened to before. My ideas haven't been quite as nearly considered as seriously as an adult. And so when I was in those meetings and those education meetings, people would listen to my ideas and they'd be like, that's a good idea, we need to work on that, And I really never really had that happen to me before, because I've always thought of myself as a kid who didn't really have that much of an impact on the world. But after this, I feel like TIPS really puts us into places where our ideas are heard.
So I think TIPS does really well to empower young people's voices, both through the organizations they find and the people that they interact with, and by bringing in organizations that are so willing and receptive to young voices. And I think that by doing that and elevating young voices, they are empowering young leaders in the future.
In those group collaboration settings, I think each of us were the leaders at some point, and we all fostered the sense of drive to complete a lot of our goals. So reflecting on this Team Read experience, I think truly I was empowered by TIPS to be a resilient leader at Team Read.
I think that it was kind of, in the beginning, I was a little nervous to present new ideas and things like that. But then towards the end, I was kind of taking that leadership role of, I can create work for myself, I can bring something to this program. So that was something that I really enjoyed.
On the day of celebration of service, they asked us to choose one word of what a leader was. And for me, that was problem solver, because I feel like a leader has to not only be able to identify a problem, they also have to be willing to be resilient and to be able to get in there and solve a problem. And so I really feel like TIPS gave us those resources to actually look at our organization from new eyes and be like, that's an issue, I have to go in there and solve it. So I do really feel like TIPS gave us those resources to be better leaders.
You can take the culture of your community and you can expand that to the whole world. So I want to be involved in my community in the future. I want to take the best parts of my community and I want to grow them, and I want to expand them to other communities and to the world.
I think it's difficult to see maybe sometimes the ways that you can be of service, and I think that can be discouraging to a lot of people. But I think once you realize the ways that you can help and you see the people that like would benefit from it, I think it's hard to not want to give that.
I think that if we close ourselves off to just focusing on ourselves and what's impacting us, I think that leaves a lot of people out. And I know that, like, especially being like a Black woman, that there's a lot of people who don't have as much privilege as I have, even though I am a Black woman. So I think that it's really important to focus on helping other people become great as well, because there's a lot of people that, like, even right now we don't know about who could have the potential to kind of change the world.
I think that all you really need is wanting to do it. I think all you need is the idea and the motivation and the want to pursue change in your community. And it's way more of an emotional mindset than it is a literal qualification. So anyone can find their place of that criteria. Anyone can obtain that. You really don't need a lot to make a difference. You just need your own mindset.
We live in a world where we have lots of passion right now, like with the internet, and a lot of times we don't have places to put that, but organizations like TIPS really give that opportunity to kind of channel your passion, channel all of those ideas into an actual project, an actual work, where on top of all that, you're getting paid. So I just think that it's truly kind of a unique experience that I've gotten to have, and I think that everybody, if it ever could happen, I think everybody should get to do this, because it's really, really cool.
I think it's very important. I think that to do community service and to see the impact that you've had on your community is very, very important, because I think that for teens that have done this and for teens who have seen the impact they've made and to see the positive effects that they've had, they feel good. They feel like this is an important thing, and it is an important thing. Right now I feel like the world is, it's a little bit falling apart. But I feel like us, the future generation, if we do work like this, especially now, we'll see like how important it is, and then we'll go into our lives having that mindset of trying to make the world a better place.